Big thaw here in the nation's capital. Rising temperatures and rain are leading to messy conditions as melting snow and ice put a damper on some winter activities. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. This weekend's winter activities are taking a hit. The rising temperatures, melting snow, and some rainfall mixed with wind, and you have a seasonal recipe of unpleasant conditions. The Rideau Canal Skateway closing until further notice last night, and many outdoor enthusiasts are postponing plans. CTV's Josh Morano is joining us now with how residents are reacting to all of this. Josh.
Yes, Stefan. Well, some tell me they're sad to see this canal close. They're sure it'll open again soon as these mild and rainy conditions aren't here to last. But others say it's a needed break from the usual freezing temperatures. With temperatures today in the mid to upper single digits, the NCC says the precautionary closure will preserve the ice surface and should allow it to quickly reopen. With it closed, many residents electing for a walk along the canal pathway and during the periods of rain to enjoy the unseasonably warm conditions. According to Environment Canada, this January thaw is not uncommon, and while the system does offer reprieve from the usual winter weather, it's not here to last, with seasonal temperatures expected to return early next week.
I think it's good that they close it right away when we get the warm weather so the ice doesn't get ruined. Last night I was out and I saw hundreds and hundreds of people skating in the evening, so that was good. People were enjoying it right to the end.
It was just so sudden, and it's a bit welcome after the minus 25s we've had. I could do without the rain, though.
Environment Canada notes there is a cold front on the way, and it could cause hazards into next week as the water from the rain and snow melt on streets and sidewalks could freeze over, along with a chance of freezing rain early in the week. And the NCC says it's monitoring the forecast in the coming days and adhere its operations accordingly. Stefan.
CTV's Josh Morano reporting live for us. Thank you, Josh. The number of people looking for work in Ottawa has gone up. According to new StatsCan figures, Ottawa's unemployment rate increased to end the year at 7.4%. But perhaps feeling the unemployment pinch the most are young people looking to jumpstart careers or enter the job market for the first time. CTV's Kimberly Johnson joins us with more. Kimberly.
That's right, Stefan. Those I spoke with today say that they are not letting their part-time jobs go, their minimum wage jobs go, because as a young person, they're just not sure if they're going to be able to find something else that works for them. Canada's national unemployment rate is sitting at 6.8%. Even as the economy added 83,000 jobs in December. And when you zero in on Ottawa, that unemployment figure goes up higher at 7.4%, a slight uptick from November. But it's the 13.3% unemployment rate that youth are facing that has many university students saying that this is a tough job market for them.
Am looking for a co-op position, and it's looking pretty scarce at the moment, so it's definitely going to be a bit of a fight for a job this summer.
It's intimidating. I think that's a good way to put it. I don't know anybody who'd be willing to quit their job.
It's intimidating, but I try to keep in mind that like unemployment tends to be cyclical, so I hope that there will be a natural come up along with my hard work.
There was an increase in part-time roles in the retail sector, according to the Retail Council of Canada. But the experts note that they were seasonal and came to an end in December in many cases. That, they say, helps account for the drop of employment numbers overall across Canada. They also say that those roles are traditionally filled by students, but with far more competition for them. There was competition in the sector for them.
CTV's Kimberly Johnson reporting live for us. Thank you, Kimberly. Residents of one Ottawa neighborhood say they have the tough job of navigating narrow lanes as snowbanks and parked cars take over their streets. They say even the buses trying to travel through are having trouble, so much so some drivers hop the curb to get by. CTV's Kimberly Fowler is here to tell us more about the plight coming out of Old Ottawa South. Kimberly.
Well, Stefan, while some traffic calming measures and some much needed construction and roadwork was meant to make the streets safer, some residents in the area say using the sidewalks feels more dangerous than ever. The number 7 bus travels here along Grove Avenue, but in the winter, snowbanks and parked cars have partially blocked this long-established route. Now, roads in the neighborhoods were also wider before the city wrapped up construction for water main and sewer upgrades last summer, and traffic calming measures were installed to slow down traffic.
Sometimes you see the tracks on the side, like if there's snow, you will see like large tire tracks on the sidewalk.
I have seen buses come up on the sidewalk, especially when there's big snowbanks or cars parked. I think there are also parking issues as well. Again, when there's snowbanks, then traffic has more trouble getting by.
OC Transpo says they're aware of the challenges along Grove Avenue, and it's working with other city departments to discuss options to ensure buses can operate safely and efficiently. Now, Area Councillor Sean Menard was not available for an on-camera interview today, but confirms enhanced snow removal will take place in the area, and bus operators will be given instructions to go slow and stay on the street along Grove Avenue. Steph.
All right, thank you for this, Kimberly. A new mobile unit for addiction services and homelessness is now available outside the Kemptville District Hospital. The Heart Hub is said to be nondescript from the outside to provide privacy, but inside there's a social worker and medical staff available for those in crisis, ready to provide support for mental health, addiction, or even housing.
The Heart Hubs themselves are a new provincial model of care to help individuals that are seeking support for substance use and housing-related issues. 28 Heart Hubs were approved in the province, and the West Ottawa Heart Hub is one of those Heart Hubs.
As a housing crisis and addiction issues plague populations across the province, experts are hoping this service fills the gap and provides an alternative to the emergency room. Patients who come here don't have to be referred. They also do not need OHIP. Staff say it's a way to remove barriers for the most vulnerable. Ottawa Senators General Manager Steve Staios has put out a statement condemning those who have spread online rumors about the team's goaltender Linus Ullmark. Ullmark has been off the ice since being granted a leave of absence last month for personal reasons. Part of the statement reads, "We ask that people respect his privacy," but clearly that request was not heard by the lowest forms of trolls and sick people who scour the internet. We are disgusted that outside forces are attempting to disrupt our hockey club. This statement will put an end to the ridiculous speculation that has spread online. Ottawa police say they stepped in to stop a slow-moving vehicle on a candy run in Barhaven yesterday morning. Police posted on social media that officers pulled over a vehicle moving slowly on Strandherd Drive and discovered a 13-year-old was behind the wheel. Police say there were 2 passengers in the vehicle of similar age. They told officers they were out to get candy from a gas station. Police say they contacted the kids' parents. Longtime Liberal MP and former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland resigning today to take on a new role with the Ukrainian government. Freeland's absence from the Liberal caucus will leave Prime Minister Mark Carney 2 seats shy from majority government. A by-election for her riding of University Rosedale must be called within 180 days to fill the seat. Freeland was appointed as an unpaid advisor on economic development by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Monday. For decades, her work shaped how fingerprint evidence is recovered and trusted in Canada. Now an Ottawa forensic scientist is being appointed to the Order of Canada.
I'm so humbled to receive this award, and so humbled by the achievements of my fellow appointees.
As a forensic scientist with the RCMP, Wilkinson spent her career tackling one of the field's toughest problems: how to recover reliable evidence like fingerprints from the most challenging surfaces like human skin. She became a world leader in evidence recovery from contaminated environments, working with labs in the United States, Australia, and the UK.
Now, as a result of that work, those countries have protocols to deal with those types of exhibits, and they know what they can do and which exhibits they have to treat within the scene and which can be taken out of the scene.
On the Picton farm, the same
Della Wilkinson's work would later be drawn on in major criminal investigations, including one of Canada's most notorious serial killers, Robert Picton, who was convicted of 6 counts of murder but confessed to killing 49 women, many of them Indigenous. He was killed in prison back in 2024. Coming up on CTV News at 5, we'll take a look at changing habits when it comes to dining out and what the impact could be on Canada's restaurant industry. And our Jackie Perez is joining us live in studio with our first look at the forecast. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. It was a damp and cool day in the capital, and yes, the warmest day we've seen so far this month. Now, parts of the area could expect light rain to continue into the evening. Right now, temperatures across the region really sitting between 6 and 8 degrees, slightly cooler in Kingston at 4 degrees, and Mont-Tremblant and Montreal sitting around 2 to 4 degrees. Now, the rain mentioned is expected to linger into the evening. It should clear by midnight hour, and then we're anticipating cloudy conditions to take us into our Saturday. -3 for the overnight low, and hey, tomorrow we're still in those mild conditions, -1 the daytime high. We'll get a closer look at your long-term forecast because by Saturday evening, yes, snow is on the way. We'll have those details and much more in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's what you need to know. Check out this year's Glow Party in the Scotiabank Great Hall of the National Gallery of Canada. It's next Thursday, January 15th. The Great Hall will be transformed into a black light zone. There will be crafts, art, and a live local DJ. The event runs from 5 until 8 p.m. Free advance tickets are strongly encouraged. Now for a live check on traffic. Earlier this afternoon, things felt fairly light for a Friday, but we're seeing some volume building around Pinecrest in the West End and the westbound lanes in that area. And a reminder that the roads are a little bit slick this hour. You're watching CTV News at 5. Welcome back to CTV News at 5. As more Canadians are finding ways to save on their food budgets, consumers are spending less time eating out in restaurants. Now, a new study from Dalhousie University predicts as many as 4,000 restaurants could go out of business in 2026. Today's radio question of the day is asking, how often do you eat at restaurants now compared to, let's say, 5 years ago?
Some of them will just close. They just won't go under. They're just going to close. And the reason why we came up with this number is because of how difficult it is to operate in the industry. When you think about input costs, the cost of food, the cost of labor as well, changes to the foreign workers program, that's impacting a lot of operators.
Chrystia Cameron is here with more. And Chrystia, I've always said restaurants are probably one of the toughest businesses to run because the cost of overhead, if things don't sell, it goes bad, you still have to replace it. It doesn't like sit on a shelf waiting for someone to buy it.
Razor thin margins, which, you know, the restaurant industry has always operated under those circumstances. But I think we've had a real habitual change. A lot of people have. Like, I think of myself 5 or 6 years ago. It's not that I was like swimming in dough. I'm no Rockefeller. But like all of the viewers at home, your money went further. So in 2019, going out to a restaurant felt a little bit more casual than in 2026 because of the affordability crisis, because of the cost of produce. And think about also operating a restaurant, Steph, and the labor shortage, trying to get people in or getting people that want to work at a restaurant.
Definitely. And we're already starting to see that turnover here in Ottawa, especially in the buyer market. We've talked about how many restaurants closed during the pandemic, new ones popping up, but then you still kind of wonder, can they survive?
I got a lot of messages today from people who also said they can afford to do takeout or go to a restaurant, but they choose not to because they don't see the value in it. Because they're looking at the dish, whatever it may be. It's a pad thai, it's a curry, it's sushi. And the portion size is smaller. I don't know if you've noticed that. You ordered the same thing.
The chicken wings are smaller, let me tell you.
You're like, this isn't even a wing. I don't know what this is. So, you know, they have the money in their bank account, but they just choose to cook at home because, hey, maybe they learned how to cook during the pandemic. I'll say this, support your local restaurants if you can, right? Support them if you can. Some people, though, right now can't.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? A lot of people can't.
Yeah, thank you for this.
Pricey out there.
It's expensive just to feed your belly.
You know, if it's not a chicken wing, what is it? What's smaller than a...
Get out of here.
I don't know. What's smaller than a chicken wing? I have no idea.
I don't know. You can join the conversation. Leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Chrystia Cameron on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 to 6. And now watch Chrystia segments anytime on YouTube. Subscribe to the News Talk 580 CFRA page.
We're so proud of this team, and we cannot wait to cheer you on in Milan.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, with just weeks to go before the 2026 Winter Olympics, Canada unveils the women's hockey team roster. Here's what you need to know. Canadian multi-Grammy award-winning singer and songwriter Michael Bublé is coming to the capital. Bublé will be performing at the Canadian Tire Centre on Friday, January 16th. Showtime is 8 p.m. I've seen him perform. It's a great show. We'll be right back. It has been a warm and wet start to the weekend here in the region. If you are out and about this evening, you may notice the winds picking up too. With another check on the weather, here's CTV's Jackie Perez live in studio for us tonight. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. Gusty winds and periods of rain showers will continue into the night, and the strongest winds, yes, they are coming in the next few hours. But here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. We're showcasing Sussex Drive and the Ottawa River. Not quite windy yet. It's about 6 degrees right now, but the wind anticipated to pick up again later this evening. Now here's a look at the large weather system that has really moved through eastern Ontario. We are getting to the tail end of this, but the wind is also going to be picking up as well, especially around Kingston and Brockville along the Seaway, where we could see wind gusts of up to 100 kilometers per hour for some parts. Here in Ottawa, we could see up to 90 kilometers per hour. Now this has prompted a special weather statement in effect for eastern Ontario and Ottawa. For Kingston, a wind warning is in effect. So this could lead to a possibility of utility outages. So be prepared for this as well. How long is this anticipated to last? Well, it should clear by the midnight hour, where again, we are going to see overnight lows about -3, getting to our daytime high for tomorrow about -1. So winds will be calmer for our Saturday, but keep in mind later this evening, we are anticipating heavy wind gusts to move through eastern Ontario. Now across the Seaway, -5 overnight lows, 1 degree the daytime high for our Saturday, and in the valley, -1 is the daytime high for Saturday. Overcast conditions as well, so not much in terms of sunshine. So while Saturday will be mainly cloudy skies, Saturday evening we are anticipating snow, freezing rain, or wintry mix moving through the region, and this will clear out by Sunday morning, but we are anticipating between 5 to 10 centimeters of snow moving through Ottawa. So don't be surprised by our Sunday morning that you could see snow moving through. The chance of flurries lingering for our Sunday, daytime high about 0. Temperatures will be dropping to -13 into Monday. -4 is going to be our daytime high. So we are still going to be above seasonal for our daytime highs, but we are starting to get back to seasonal conditions by the end of next week. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's a look at the stories you're checking out right now on ctvnewsottawa.ca. If you go to our homepage right now, one of the top 3 stories are a list of ideas of things you can do in the Ottawa region this weekend. So if you're looking for make plans with the family, we certainly have you covered. There's lots of sports going on. We'll keep you updated on whether or not the canal will stay closed for the full weekend. Of course, there's lots of indoor activities like going to the museum, the Canada Strong Pass. If you need ideas, go to ctvnewsottawa.ca. Coming up for us here on CTV News at 5. What the latest Public Health Ontario numbers are revealing about flu cases across the province. And if you need gas heading into the weekend, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the Canadian Tire Station on 10th Line Road in Orleans. Regular gas there tonight is going for 109.3 cents a litre. We'll be right back.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature right now, 6 degrees with wet roads and slushy sidewalks. It's time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
As that system moves out on Sunday morning, it's actually going to bring in that Arctic air that we're more accustomed to.
As temperatures climb steadily above the freezing mark, plenty of rain and melting snow putting a damper on some winter activities.
I have seen buses come up on the sidewalk, especially when there's big snowbanks or cars parked.
Well, a tight squeeze for some buses trying to maneuver their way on a narrow old Ottawa South Street, with some driving right up on the sidewalks, as you heard, to get by. We'll hear from some residents who say they need a change.
Now, as a result of that work, those countries have protocols to deal with those types of exhibits.
Special recognition for an Ottawa forensic scientist whose work has shaped how fingerprint evidence is recovered and trusted in Canada for decades. All of that and more is coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following today. Ottawa Charged players Emily Clark, Brianne Jenner, and Jocelyn Larocque are among those named today to the Canadian Women's Olympic Hockey Team.
Ultimately, we looked at body of work. We looked at readiness to compete at the highest level and the serviceability of this group.
The team will be looking to defend the Team Canada's gold medal in women's hockey at the 2026 Winter Games next month in Italy. 23 players have been named to the team. The women's hockey tournament kicks off February 5th.
Lost her footing now. Here's Wozniewicz in towards the goal. Has a lead. Scores!
And the Ottawa Charge are in action on home ice tonight. They take on the Vancouver Golden Knights at TD Place Arena. The Charge are hoping to extend their winning streak tonight. They've won their last 4 games. You can watch tonight's game on TSN. Puck drop is 7 p.m.
Sanderson to poke it away. Here's Pinchot. Takes a shot. Scores!
A rough loss for the Ottawa Senators on the road in Colorado last night. A really tough loss, in fact. The Sens got pummeled by the Avalanche. Colorado had 8 goals by the end of the second period. The final score was 8-2 for Colorado. Next up for the Sens, a home game against Florida. That's tomorrow night. The first 7,000 fans in attendance will receive a Ridley Gregg bobblehead. Public Health Ontario is out with its first update on the spread of flus across the province after a pause over the holidays. The previous update accounted for cases up to December 13th, and it showed positivity rates around 34%, which officials consider to be very high. That figure climbed even further and appears to have peaked at around 36% the following week. Looking closer to right now, officials say flu activity continues to drop, but it's still high, with 1 in 4 tests coming back positive. With all the rain today, the City of Ottawa is asking for residents' help to make sure catch basins are not blocked by snow, ice, or other debris. Blocked catch basins can slow and prevent melting water and rain from draining properly. That can lead to pooling. The city says its crews are out clearing catch basins, but with more than 100,000 of them across the capital, help from residents can go a long way. That is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Be sure to join Patricia Bull for CTV News at 6. The early edition of CTV National News starts right now. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and have a wonderful weekend.